At this school, love isn't just forbidden, it's punishable by expulsion. Students are watched 24/7, in and outside of school. Relationships are exposed publicly, and anyone caught dating gets expelled and gets a walk of shame in front of the entire school. But despite the strict rules, secrets, betrayals, and hidden romances keep pushing the students closer to chaos, until one student, expelled for falling in love, sues the school.
The episode opens with Ichica appearing in court for a hearing before shifting back in time to her second year at Asuran Academy, when the girls' campus was merged with the boys'. Ichica explains that this decision was due to inflation and the low birth rate. Ichica's friend Ama alerts her that the boys have arrived. This triggers a memory of when Ichica once met a boy named Ryugo at the hospital after her mother was admitted with a back injury from work. Ryugo explains that he is there visiting his own mother, who had suffered a broken bone. As they wait through the night for their mothers, Ichica and Ryugo spend time talking and getting to know each other. In the present day, Ryugo is portrayed as a popular athletic student who plays basketball and often flirts with girls. During a school assembly, Principal Yoko Ikujima, who is a scary authority figure, addresses the students and announces a new no-romance rule. The students are left stunned when Ikujima explains that any romantic relationships with the opposite sex are strictly forbidden, both on and off school grounds. She warns that anyone caught breaking this rule will be expelled immediately, without any warning. When a student asks if they are allowed to fall in love, the principal chillingly clarifies that while they can have feelings, those feelings must never be expressed or acted upon. After the assembly, Ryugo invites Koharu and her friends to a karaoke bar. Koharu's friend Ayami asks Ichica if she would like to join them, but Ichica declines. Ryugo recognizes Ichica and is excited to see her. Around the same time, Mr. Maki, Ryugo's father, the governor, and the school's trustee, visits the school. He is shocked by Ikujima's new rule and discusses it with her, along with plans for the merger of the two schools. Mr. Maki introduces Ikujima to his older son, Haruto, who will be working at the school as a teacher. He also watches his younger son, Ryugo, play basketball and is embarrassed by his behavior during the game. Meanwhile, Ichika's father visits her mother at work and demands that Ichica be removed from the elite school. Ichika's mother becomes upset, throws him out, and tells him to pay child support instead of forcing his views on their daughter. Instead of going to the karaoke bar, Ichica spends the evening with her friend Emma. At the bar, Sawa attempts to kiss Yuzuki, but Yuzuki pulls away, leaving Sawa embarrassed. Later, Mr. Maki angrily disciplines Ryugo at home for his behavior at school and warns him to control himself. At the same time, Ichika's mother apologizes to her for not being able to provide the wealthy lifestyle her classmates have. The next day at school, Ryugo and Ichica share a brief moment, but Ichica quickly pulls away. Soon after, the students receive a shocking notification announcing that 2 students have been expelled for having a relationship outside school grounds. Following this, Ichica begins avoiding Ryugo, which confuses him. Haruto notices Ryugo's interest in Ichica and tries to warn him. Yuma is elected president of the student council, upsetting Sawa, who is demoted to vice president. She complains to Yuzuki, the council secretary, claiming she was demoted because she is a girl. Ichica and Atsushi introduce themselves as the joint heads of the accounting department. After the meeting, Atsushi overhears a teacher reminding Ichica to ask her mother to pay her overdue school fees. Ichica is embarrassed but tries to brush it off. Atsushi later apologizes for overhearing, and the two talk briefly. As Ichica leaves, Atsushi secretly takes a photo of her, revealing that he has several pictures of her saved on his phone. On her way out, Ichica catches Ryugo and Koharu kissing. She tries to warn them before they are caught by teachers. Koharu thanks Ichica and offers to pay her for helping them. Ichica refuses, accusing Koharu of offering money only because she thinks Ichica is poor. However, when Ichica returns home, she learns that her father has taken out a joint loan using her mother's name. Loan sharks confront Ichica and demand repayment, and a lawyer later informs her mother that she is legally responsible because she signed the documents without reading them. That evening, Ryugo hosts a party for his classmates. Sawa becomes jealous when she sees Yuzuki dancing with Yuma and lashes out at him. Haruto arrives home and tries to shut down the party but is distracted by Ayami, who takes him to a private room and kisses him. Meanwhile, Koharu brings Ryugo to meet Ichica and pays her to keep their relationship secret. Ryugo is shocked to realize that Ichica is accepting the money. Atsushi also witnesses Ichica taking the payment as the episode comes to an end. The next episode begins with Chihiro looking for another job. Meanwhile, Ichica uses the money to pay her tuition. Chihiro tells Ichica that she found a new job, to which she is surprised and tells her to prioritize her health and not to worry about her tuition because she has received a scholarship, which is false. Chihiro is suspicious, but Ichica convinces her. Chihiro praises Ichica for getting the scholarship, and we see Ichica try to save money every day. She even refunds her commuter pass and rides her bike to school instead of taking the train. Meanwhile, at school, the teachers tell Ikujima that the male and female students had started bonding, and it would be difficult to monitor their interactions outside the school premises. In class, the students talk about Sawa's actions toward Yuma at the party. Yuzuki ignores Sawa as we get a flashback from the night before. Yuzuki tells Sawa to apologize to Nashiki, to which Sawa asks her if she loves him. Yuzuki denies it and states that she also doesn't have any romantic feelings towards Sawa, to which the latter is heartbroken. Haruto comes to his senses and pushes Ayami away, stating that he was caught off guard when she lied about her age when they met on a dating app. He breaks off their 3-month-long relationship, stating that he is worried that she'll be expelled. Ayami watches Haruto as he speaks to his students. Ichica asks the teachers if she could get a scholarship, but they refuse. Koharu tells Ryugo that she paid Ichica of her own accord. They talk about their kiss, and they both agree to forget about it. Ryugo asks Koharu why Ichica accepted the money. Koharu replies by telling him that she is poor. At school, Ichica tries to look for a way to support her mother financially without getting a part-time job, as that was also against the school's policy. Later that day, Ryugo goes to apologize to Ichica for what he said at the party. He said that he didn't know that she was poor and offers to pay hush money too, to which she declines, feeling offended, and leaves. Ima inquires about what Ichica was talking to Ryugo about and say that she broke up with her boyfriend. The two bond over ramen, as Ima says that she'll soon move abroad like her mother. At Atsushi's house, he's having dessert with his parents, when his mother asks about school and Ichica, which ends up ruining the mood and making things awkward between them. At the Maki household, the governor and Haruto scold Ryugo for having a party while Thrai were gone. Seeing how unremorseful he is, the governor drops a glass for Ryugo's mom to pick up as his punishment. We learn that Ryugo wants to go abroad to study, but he doesn't want to leave his mother alone with his dad. Mrs. Maki tells him to prioritize his future. Sawa scrolls through pictures of her and Yuzuki, neglecting to study for her exam. The next day at school, Sawa struggles with the exam and tries to cheat by using her phone, but Ichica catches her in the act. After the exam, Ichica tells Sawa that she won't snitch on her, but the latter reacts harshly, thinking that Ichica is making fun of her, and stomps out of the class. Emma ditches Ichica during break to study to go abroad. Meanwhile, Asuka tries flirting the school counselor, Yuki. He claims to be attracted to older women. Yuki tries to draw the line between them and asks Asuka to use the student-teacher messaging app, School Post, to talk to her. He starts booking more counseling sessions to meet her. Yuki keeps deleting the requests as they show up. However, the portal shows a new photo of Ima with her boyfriend outside a motel. Yuki takes the photo to the principal, who starts questioning Emma about her meeting. Ima confesses that she only met her ex to end their relationship due to the new rules of the school. However, Ikushima asks if Emma had physical relations with her boyfriend at the motel. Emma states that her ex wanted to be alone with her one last before their breakup and that they didn't have physical relations. The principal demands to see her phone and finds pictures proving that they had sexual relations. Ima's mother arrives and hits her. Ikushima expels Emma from the school despite her requests. Sawa feels guilty for snitching on Emma on the portal. Honestly, Emma is gullible because that boy definitely isn't waiting 2 years for her just because she let him hit. Ichica breaks down and tries to plead with the principal, but the principal refuses to give in. She claims that the students of the school need to learn to refrain from giving in to their desires and calls students that don't do that stupid. Ryogo notices Ichica's state and tries to cheer her up. Ichica shares how Ima's dreams of bringing her family back to wealth and studying abroad had been shattered and that he could never understand that because he is rich, and she storms out of the classroom. After school that day, Ichica meets Ima and tries to console her. Emma keeps her head high and the two friends hug and sob. As the days go by, Yuki tells the principal that many students are tracking their classmates outside the school premises. The principal sees this as an opportunity and asks Yuki to get the members of the student council to start patrolling outside motels to catch the student breaking school rules. The student council members start a rabbit hunting spree. Some students are against the rabbit hunting. Sawa is enthusiastic about this because her love life is miserable. If my love life was that miserable, I would also break people up. Meanwhile, Ayami meets Haruto in the upstairs library and they make out. He also continues to date the student counselor, Yuki, who is a good fit in their family as per his father's standards. That night, Ryugo goes home and finds Mr. Maki throwing a fit and abusing Mrs. Maki. He tells Ryugo that he called the agency and canceled his trip to the US and that he should stay in Japan. He also got a full refund and took Mrs. Maki's hard-earned money. They both argue and Ryugo gets upset and storms out. Meanwhile, Ichika is stuck patrolling outside motels with Sawa when Ryugo calls her the school's lapdog. She tries to contact Ima but does not get through to her. The loan sharks hound Ichika and her mother. They even go to her workplace and harass her. Ichika goes to Ima's house but sees that she has moved. She finds the dream board Ima had made. Ichika tells herself that she will be taking on Ima's dream and will strive to graduate from Asuran Academy. The episode ends with Ichika anonymously blackmailing the couples and extorting money from them. The next episode starts with the council members talking about how students are snitching on each other on the student portal and Ichika overhearing it. Ichika plants a spy camera in Yuki's office and learns her password to the student portal. The next day, she goes to school early and sneaks into the counselor's office when Yuki has a day off and takes photos of the new couple's submissions that are sent on the portal and steals it. Ichika deletes the submissions from the portal and texts the couples, blackmailing them to pay money if they do not want to be exposed. She uses the pseudonym Lovekeeper and asks the students to leave cash in a locker at the train station. Once the students have left, Ichika takes the money and uses it for her school fees as well as to repay the loan sharks. One of the couple's submissions features Ryugo, who is currently at a karaoke when Ichika texts him, asking him to pay up to keep his romance a secret. He is unbothered and even snitches on himself on the student portal. Even after several days, Ryugo does not respond to Ichika's threat and she does not delete the submission from the student portal. At the school choir club, Toda and Irisawa start developing feelings for each other, but Toda's friend doesn't like boys and sees them as competition. Meanwhile, Sawa fetches Yuzuki to go on patrol and actively ignores Nishiki. While on patrol, Sawa bothers Yuzuki by telling that she should be honest and say that she likes Nishiki, even though she denied it multiple times, and Yuzuki tells Sawa that she is no longer comfortable being her friend and calls her narrow-minded. At the same time, Yuki takes a bunch of relationship submissions to the principal. The principal keeps Mr. Maki's donation to the school in mind and ignores Ryugo's relationship. Toda and Irisawa's romance blossoms when the two sing a duet together. Meanwhile, the principal instigates Sawa and asks her to take much stricter actions to catch the students who are engaging in romance. In the choir club room, after singing as a duet, Irisawa asks Toda to record her singing, to which the latter cheerfully agrees. The student council has a meeting to increase patrols, but Yuzuki doesn't agree and argues with Sawa. After the student council meeting, Yuzuki tries to make small talk with Atsushi and asks if he has feelings for Ichika, but the latter denies and asks Yuzuki to mind her own business. That night after school, Ayami gives Haruto a birthday present and they have physical relations in his car. The principal asks Yuki to ignore the couple's submissions about Ryugo. The next day, Ichika sees more submissions about Ryugo and is shocked to learn that he was being excused by the no romance rule because of his privilege. She sends another warning to him as Lovekeeper to see if she can extort money from him. That evening, Yuki and Haruto go out on a date and he seems disinterested in her. Meanwhile, Irisawa and Toda are about to kiss in the choir room when someone snaps a picture of them. Toda is scared that she will be expelled now. Ryugo talks to Haruto that night and asks if he is pulling strings to make sure he is not expelled from school. He states that he was hooking up with so many girls because he wanted to be kicked out of the school. Haruto states that he did not want their father to be troubled because he asks Ryugo to stop trying to get expelled. Ryugo sees the note asking Haruto to meet with Ayami at the library. The next day, Ryugo texts Lovekeeper and agrees to pay them to keep his relationship a secret. Ichika collects the bag from the locker and goes home. That was a stupid move on her part because Ryugo follows her home and calls her out for trying to extort money from students. Ryugo states that he had placed a GPS tracker in the bag. The moneylenders show up to collect their due and Ryugo apologizes to her for acting out. He asks Ichika to share the extorted money with him in exchange for his help. Ichika agrees and allows Ryugo to join her as she collects the money from the locker after Irisawa and Toda leave it there. The two split the money in half and start their journey as business partners. Ichika and Ryugo steal the key to the counselor's office, but almost get caught until Ryugo distracts the teacher and Ichika escapes. They have a cute moment before they head into the office. The episode comes to an end as they happily walk around the school. The next episode begins with Ichika's mother, Chihiro, showing up to school for class observations, much to Ichika's shock. She is proud to see Ichika deliver a presentation in class along with her classmates. Chihiro asks to meet Ichika's teacher to thank her for the alleged scholarship she had received. Ichika panics that her lie will be exposed, but Ryugo saves her by stating that the teacher was not in school that day. On her way out, Chihiro meets Mrs. Maki and the two women chat as they run into Atsushi's mother, Mrs. Kanda. Chihiro is shocked to see her there and the two awkwardly greet each other as they leave. Ryugo tells Ichika that they were doing this Lovekeeper thing wrong. He claims that they should gain the students' trust by telling them that they are on their side. Ichika pays of her father's debt, while Asuka suspects that Ryugo is dating a girl since he seems happier than usual, to which the latter denies. Ichika gifts her mother lipstick, and Chihiro points out how she looked good with Ryugo. Meanwhile, Sawa and the other student council members get aggressive with the students who are suspected couples. Ichika asks Sawa if she was being so aggressive due to personal reasons, which is true, but the latter claims that the principal asked her to be strict. The council gets together to plan for the upcoming school trip. On the other hand, the news about Lovekeeper spreads like wildfire. Ichika overhears bad gossip about Lovekeeper and talks to Ryugo about doing something to stop it. She then gets a message from a couple who claim to be from Catholic families. The couple states that they do not have the money to pay Lovekeeper but want their picture deleted. Ryugo suggests that they help this couple for free, but Ichika does not see it as ideal for their business since they both need money. Meanwhile, during his regular counseling session with Yuki, Asuka talks to her about the idea of falling in love. Yuki gives him some advice that makes him see that he is falling in love with his teacher. On the other hand, Haruto continues to sleep with Ayami in secret. The school trustees meet the principal and warn her about the repeated expulsions. They claim that this was bad for their business, but the principal argues that she needed to stick to the rules as the female students paid a lot more fees than the male students, and the trustees state that she would be held responsible if she continues to dismiss students in this way. Meanwhile, Ryugo is chatting with his friends when he sees his brother going somewhere. He follows him and ends up catching him meeting up with Ayami in the upstairs library and is shocked. He tries to confront his brother that night, but they end up fighting instead, and Mr. Maki intervenes. The fight between the brothers ends with Mr. Maki taking Haruto's side. He goes back to their Lovekeeper hideout and meets Ichika there. Ryugo opens up to Ichika and tells her how his father has been abusive to his mother. Ryugo tells Ichika that he is trying to make money to help take his mother overseas with him. Ichika is touched and invites Ryugo home with her. Ichika shares the story of her mother's dream of wanting her to graduate from the elite school. The two start bonding, and Ichika tells him that she is willing to help the couple for free and messages them. In private, Ichika wonders if she is falling in love with Ryugo. The students go on a school trip, and Atsushi ends up being paired with Ichika. At the same time, Mrs. Kanda meets Chihiro at her workplace and apologizes for having an affair with her husband. At the trip, Atsushi talks to Ichika, but realizes that she does not remember meeting him when they were younger. Sawa gets obsessive about catching couples engaging in romance. That evening, Haruto brings Yuki over for dinner. At the same time, the students sneak out of their rooms to watch the fireworks. Ichika watches Ruka and Yuma go out on a walk as the other students play with the fireworks. Ryugo talks to Ichika, and Atsushi watches them from afar. In their room, the girls decide to send messages Ryugo and Asuka. Ichika agrees to play the game and sends a message to Ryugo expecting a response from him. At the same time, Mrs. Maki talks to Ryugo over the phone and informs him about the dinner with Yuki. He gets upset and texts Ayami asking her to meet him. The girls are shocked when they see that Ayami has a text from Ryugo as the episode ends with Ichika feeling embarrassed and heartbroken. The episode centers on the secret relationship between Ruka and Yuma. They have some of the sweetest moments in the series so far, including a beautiful kiss during the fireworks. Meanwhile, Ichika is dealing with her own heat. Kanda has to step in to save her from a very suspicious Sawa, who is getting closer to uncovering Ichika's Lovekeeper identity. During her investigation, Ichika discovers the photo of Ruka and Yuma and sends them a message as Lovekeeper. On the romance front for our leads, things get messy. Maki has some interactions with Ayami to help her break up with his brother that lead to a major misunderstanding with Ichika, adding more tension to their already complicated business partnership. Yuma and Ruka put the money in the locker and goes home. Yuma becomes extra cautious and refuses to hang out with Ruka, fearing being outed. Ichika forgets to delete the photos when she is interrupted by Kanda, who was looking out for her. She opens the door for him and they hide together before Sawa catches them. Ichika reveals her identity to Atsushi as Lovekeeper. The tension between Ichika and Ryogo comes to a head as he sees her with Atsushi. The principal talks to Yuki about Lovekeeper and asks the latter to be careful. Unlike previous couples caught by the rabbit hunters, Ruka and Yuma aren't immediately expelled. Instead, the principal refuses to acknowledge their relationship as a romance at all. No violations were reported that week. Yuma breaks up with Ruka to take a break to think. Ryogo buys Ichika soda, but he doesn't give it to her, and instead leaves it in front of the door after seeing her talking with Atsushi. Meanwhile, Yuzuki asks Atsushi to walk home together, and Ayami receives messages from Haruto after ignoring him. Rumors start about Ryugo and Ayami dating. Meanwhile, Haruto goes ring shopping with Yuki. Yuki watches Asuka as he plays basketball, and Asuka goes to her office afterwards. He tells her he likes her and hopes that she will like him too. The next morning, photos of Yuma and Ruka kissing are plastered around the school. Ichica helps Ruka as he takes down the photos. Yuma and Ruka's relationship is outed to the entire school. The most heartbreaking part, Yuma is so destroyed by being outed that he stops coming to school. While Ruka remains at school, he feels completely erased and dehumanized because his love isn't even considered legit enough to break the rules. Seeing the pain this causes, even Sawa, the leader of the rabbit hunters, begins to doubt herself. She realizes that the system she's been enforcing is causing real, lasting damage, especially since she might be struggling with her own hidden feelings. Ichica goes to Nishiki's house with Ruka to give him school printouts. Nishiki refuses to come to school for the time being. Ichica confronts the principal regarding her prejudice. The principal responds saying that the ban is meant to help female students. Suspicious of Ichica, the principal asks her if she's the love keeper. Ayami visits Ryogo in his class but finds him sleeping and leaves. Yuzuki asks Kanda how he feels about her. Ichica confides in Kanda about feeling guilty for taking the student's money. Kanda comforts her as they bond. Meanwhile, Ayami breaks up with Haruto, and the latter asks if she has found someone else. She declines and then leaves. We learn that Ryugo has been waiting for Ayami, and she thanks him. Ichica sees Ryugo giving his jacket to Ayami and gets jealous. She runs away and Ryugo follows her. Ryugo confesses his feelings and they share a kiss in the rain. The episode begins with Koharu meeting her boyfriend for a date in a poor restaurant, where the latter shows her how to eat the food. Meanwhile, at school, Ryogo and Ichica, along with their classmates, practice their dance moves for the school festival. Ryogo finds the moves too difficult as he stares into Ichika's eyes. Ryogo drops Ichica home. He tries to kiss her, but she refuses because they might be seen and they hug. The next day, Koharu suspects that Ichica is in love. She apologizes for trying to bribe Ichica and calls Ryogo a player, which makes her start doubting Ryogo's feelings for her. Two rabbit hunters suspect Koharu of breaking the rules and suggest reporting her. Ichica stops them and suggests getting more evidence, and Atsushi joins her. Atsushi suggests that they use this information to blackmail Koharu as lovekeeper. Ryogo confirms that Koharu has a boyfriend. Ichica becomes the final boss of overthinking. Ichica and Ryogo admit they're each other's first love, but disagree on what to do next. Ichica wants to wait until after graduation to avoid getting expelled, while Ryogo suggests secretly dating because he can't stand being apart. Their conversation becomes tense when he questions her reaction to him kissing Koharu when they're not dating, hinting at her hidden feelings. Ryogo expresses how much he values their connection, but says he'll let it go if she thinks it's impossible. Their conversation is cut short when they get interrupted by a teacher. Meanwhile, Koharu rides a bike with her boyfriend, and Ryogo struggles to learn the dance moves. Things get awkward when Ichica and Ryogo have to dance together, making Asuka suspicious. Yuzuki talks to Sawa by the stairs, but the latter is bitter and leaves.
Ayami clears some misunderstandings about her relationship with Ryogo to Ichica, but the latter tells her that they're not dating. Meanwhile, Haruto keeps blowing up Ayami's phone, but she ignores him. Ryogo tells Haruto to give up on Ayami. Later that night, Haruto waits for Ayami outside her house. He angrily grabs her and questions whether she likes Ryogo, but she declines, and he leaves, saying that he won't accept it. Ichica and Ryogo both type "I miss you" to each other, but they don't send it. Ichica receives festival money from her mother. At the school festival, the council members and the principal are more than enthusiastic to catch couples. Koharu asks her boyfriend to join her at the festival, while Atsushi and Ichica monitor her. Ichica compares her schedule with Atsushi's so they can keep an eye on Koharu. Meanwhile, Yuzuki seeks Ichika's help with the reception to locate Sawa, and also confides in Ichica about her personal problems. At the same time, Ruka sends Yuma a video of himself dancing, so Yuma can practice. Asuka realizes that Ryogo is into Ichica before Ayami asks to talk to Ryogo. She tells him that his brother came to her house and asks if something happened between him and his brother. Ryogo says it's his father's fault, but he'll deal with him. Asuka asks Yuki to come to the festival and watch him play before Haruto comes into her office. He asks her if she has decided which ring to buy, but she says she needs more time to think about whether she'll marry him or not. Haruto suspects that she found a new man and gets angry. Ryogo tells Yuki about Haruto and Ayami's relationship, and that he was stalking her. Two rabbit hunters locate Koharu, but before they can expose her, Atsushi throws lemonade on them as a distraction, while Ichica chases Koharu. She loses her, but she finds her in a theater, where Koharu is leaning on her boyfriend. Ryogo is also in that theater, and he apologizes to Ichica and tells her that he'll wait for her because he loves her. They hold hands before Sawa comes in and almost takes a picture of Koharu, but Ichica texts Koharu as Lovekeeper to inform her that she is being watched and that she must delete all the photos of her and her boyfriend on her phone. She looks around scared and quickly deletes the photos before Sawa takes her phone and finds nothing except a photo with writing saying, "Do you have the right to search other people's phones?" The next morning, Atsushi learns that Ichica helped Koharu for free, and he gets mad because he knows she did it because she is in love with Ryogo and sees herself in her. Meanwhile, Koharu broke up with her boyfriend because when he found out that her dad was a CEO, he started asking her to borrow him money. Koharu thanks Lovekeeper for helping her, even though she decided to break up with her boyfriend. Sawa accuses Ichica of being Lovekeeper, to which the latter denies. Ichica tells Sawa that she is doing this because Yuzuki rejected her. Ichica speaks facts, but Sawa denies it and slaps her. Ichica doesn't care because she did nothing wrong. At night, Ichica and Ryogo and their classmates do their dance performance, and after the dance, Ichica and Ryogo meet in the storeroom and get intimate. The next morning, an expulsion message for Ryogo and Ichica is sent to everyone in the school. This is because Ayami had started to develop feelings for Ryogo and had asked to meet him to talk later. So she followed him when he was alone and found him in the storeroom with Ichica. Feeling jealous, deceived, and furious, she takes out her phone, takes a picture of them, and reports them. Ryogo takes Ichica home, unaware of the disaster awaiting to happen. They happily say goodbye to each other. The next day, they are both shocked when their teacher tells them to go to the principal's office, and everyone's phones ring with a message that they'd have been expelled. The principal shows Ichica a photo and asks if it's her in the picture. The principal demands to go through Ichika's phone, and Ichica admits that they were together. Ichica is shocked that they did research on her and have implicating photos of her and Ryogo, but Ichica doesn't respond. She tells the principal that she's the one who did it. The principal threatens to expel her and reports her to the police if she doesn't give the names of the people she helped. Atsushi was the one who snitched about who Lovekeeper was, because just like Ayami, he was jealous when he saw Ichica and Ryogo getting it on, so he screws them over. Ichika's mother comes to take her. They meet Ryogo and his mom face to face and just walk past them. Ryogo is also expelled. When they're home, Ichika's mother blames her while she's crying, saying she's shocked by her and can't believe her daughter is blackmailing kids for money, and that she has to agree to the principal's decision to give them the names or they'll report her to the police on charges of extortion. They give them time to think, but Ichica tells her she won't do that, and that the little money she took doesn't slightly affect the rich kids, and tells her this is why they're poor and have miserable lives. Her mother hits her with a pen, which makes Ichica get angry and leave the house. Ryogo tries to call her, but she tells him that she can't talk right now. Mr. Maki goes to the principal and asks her not to expel Ryogo. The principal tells him she doesn't care whether he donates to the school or not, but she won't withdraw the expulsion. Mr. Maki comes out angry and meets the counselor. He thinks she had a trivial fight with Haruto because he doesn't know they broke up. But she shocks him when she tells him they broke up a long time ago and that he dated and was stalking a student at the school. She tells him to make his son stay away from the student or she'll report him to the police. Mr. Maki's father hears this, gets furious, and beats up Haruto. Ryogo defends him while he's being beaten and blames his father for being too overbearing. Even Haruto himself blames him for always imprisoning him with his endless expectations. At the same time, Ichica is sleeping in the cyber cafe, reading the kids' comments on her. She's shocked when the counselor calls her, asking to see her. When she goes to meet her, she can't even order water because she doesn't have money. The counselor orders for her and apologizes to her that because of her passivity, all this happened to her, and that she didn't stand up for her even though the principal was wrong. But Ichica tells her she was doing it because of the money, until recently she started to sympathize with her classmates when she realized they were in love. The next morning, Ayami sees the school announcement expelling Maki and Ichica. She can't bear it, and she faints. The counselor sees her and takes her to the clinic. Yuki thinks she fainted from her distress because of Haruto. She tells her not to worry, because Ryogo told her everything. She tells her that she dated Haruto. Ayami cries and feels more guilty, and admits it. Sawa meets Ichica, gives her food, and apologizes for what happened, saying she thought about her words. Ichica tells her nothing makes a difference anymore, and that she left her mother's house. Sawa offers her to stay with her at her house. Ichica accepts the offer. At night, Ichica is shocked by a message from Emma, asking to meet her. The next morning, we see Haruto finally leaving the school and resigning. At the same time, Sawa goes with Ichica to meet Emma, but they're shocked to find her pregnant. When Sawa apologizes for snitching on her before, Emma tells her she forgives her and that she would have been expelled anyway because she got pregnant. She sits and talks with our girl alone and tells her that her boyfriend ran away and her mother fought with her because she didn't want to abort the child, but she found people to help her. She's not sorry for any decision she made. As she's about to get them juice, Emma falls and goes into labor. They take her to the hospital. At the same time, Asuka gets hurt while playing ball and is taken to the hospital. Ichica meets Maki there while he's going to visit his friend, but they just go to their friend. Ichica sits next to Emma until she gives birth, and Ryogo stays with Asuka until he comes out of surgery. Then he goes to Ichica and apologizes that what happened to them is because of his selfishness. But she tells him she's not sorry, and that she wanted to be with him all the time too. Ichica decides the principal's oppression must stop, and that she'll fight against the no romance rule by filing a lawsuit against the school. She goes to tell her mother. Her mother agrees to help her. Ichica stands alone in front of the principal. At night, Ryogo walks with Ichica, holding hands. He tells her even if he can't testify with her, he'll always stand by her side. The court day comes. The counselor testifies against the principal. Even when she went and told the principal didn't object and supported the students monitoring each other. Sawa also testifies against the principal, saying that she was strongly encouraged to monitor students outside the school itself, which shocks the attendees. When it's Ichika's turn to testify, principal interrogated her and asked to see her messages and all her photos, invading her privacy. The attendees are shocked. Despite this, not a hair moved on the principal. The judge gets up to interrogate Ichika's mother and asks her opinion on the law. She says at first she didn't object, but then she felt it suffocated the students. The judge corners her, telling her how Ichika was taking money from students in exchange for helping them. Ryogo enters and says it was a deal and they didn't force anyone to pay. Atsushi also enters to testify with them, saying he was also working with them and sometimes they didn't take money, but the judge asks for the names of these people to interrogate them. The trial is postponed to the next session. When Ichika goes to the lawyer, she tells her that she dug up the principal's past and was surprised that when she was a student, her friend died while she was a minor, giving birth alone after her boyfriend abandoned her. Ichika understands that the principal is still living in guilt, that she didn't prevent her friend from dating this boy. When the trial day comes, Ichika asks to question the principal and tries to appeal to her sympathy, but the principal insists on her opinion. Ichika wishes that she gave them freedom to love and have feelings, but the principal herself scolds her, telling her preventing these feelings will protect them from bigger things and losses they would have to bear. When the final court day comes, unfortunately, Ichika's request is rejected, and she loses the case. But the court gives them the right to return, along with everyone who was expelled before. But they're shocked by Ayami entering the cordon, telling them she was in a relationship with Haruto, and she threatens that if they don't cancel the law, she'll expose this relationship on the internet. They find behind her half the school students with an envelope in their hands, signed with a request to cancel the rule. The administration is put in front of the plea to conduct a vote among students, whether they agree to cancel the law or not. Here, Ichika meets the principal, who tells her even if the rule is canceled or not, she wasn't wrong when she made the no romance rule because it protects them. Our girl tells her that Ima gave birth and she's not sorry. We're shocked to find the principal knew. Does this mean that she meant well, but was going about it the wrong way? We have a time jump to 3 months later, where we learn that Ryogo traveled to study abroad. Meanwhile, Ichika has made friends at school and is studying for the university exam. We see Ichika said goodbye to him one last time before he leaves. When she leaves while crying, he hugs her and asks her to wait for him because he's coming back to her. We learn the law unfortunately wasn't cancelled because the voting was a bust, but the surprise is when Ichika finds a message sent to her from an account imitating her. But on the contrary, the account isn't asking for an insignificant amount of money. No, it's asking for a lot of money. Our series ends here. Is this a signal for a second part? Or is this an open ending? Honestly, God knows. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. It helps a lot.